So I recently did a video talking about how America is a plantation, we are indentured servants, and what else? And pain is not the best motivator for human beings, right? Or anyone, honestly. And there were a few comments in my comment section that ranged from just being mean, and they got blocked, to people just being curious and maybe even skeptical, which is fine, right? Like, skepticism is completely fine. But it also kind of bummed me out because it made me realize that a lot of people don't have access to their imagination anymore, and they don't believe in the power of imagination. They don't believe in the power of community, and they have so little faith in what we can actually get accomplished if we actually came together, like focused on a mission. I think capitalism does a very good job in making us feel disempowered and making us feel like all is lost and there's nothing that can be done, right? But it also made me realize that a lot of people have pushed back against it because either they feel hopeless or they feel like all is lost. But a lot of people, what's clear to me is that a lot of people don't want things to change because they want their time in the sun, right? Like, a lot of people don't want equity because they want to be the overseer at some point. And if we destroy and demolish the system, then they'll never get their chance, right? So people like me seem to be like impeding their progress, or like in the way of what they want to accomplish, what they want to see in the world, right? And a lot of what they want to see is themselves, is themselves reflected in the powers that be. Because it's clear that, like, not everybody believes that capitalists are bad people. And I don't even know if I would say like they're bad people. I think that they have bad politics, right? Or bad beliefs because of what it takes to become, to be a capitalist, right? Or to become a billionaire or whatever, right? And I don't even know how to continue, but I think it's frustrating because it's clear that a lot of people don't want the system to be destroyed because they want their time. They've worked hard, and I understand that, right? Like, we're told if we work hard, we can accomplish our goals, but we learn that hard work doesn't really pay off for a lot of people. For most people, hard work doesn't pay off, right? If we're looking at these organizations or these careers, for example, a lot of people at the bottom are doing all the hard labor, all the hard work, and they're hardly ever given a chance to come up, so to speak. Like, we're told that if we work hard enough, meritocracy, right? We're told that if we work hard enough, if we pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps, then we have something that is promised us. And so, of course, it's triggering. And of course, it's unnerving when somebody comes along and says, hey, this system is actually broken, and they're lying to you, right? Like, I understand that being the first response. I get it. It is discouraging. In a lot of ways, it's depressing because you realize, one, that you've been lied to, but that also, like, all your hard work has been in vain. And is it in vain? No, right? But, like, if we don't get the things that we were promised to get because of our hard work, it can feel that way. It can feel like, what is the point of all of this? What is the point of all this stress and strain and labor if I'm not going to get what I was promised? You know? And I understand that feeling. And I've had to come to terms with that feeling, right? Like, come to terms with that truth. Like, the mourning process. Trisha Hersey, shout out to her. She's the founder of the Nat Ministry, and she's a Nat bishop. And she talked about that. How, like, unraveling from capitalism, unlearning capitalism comes with a mourning and a grieving process, right? You're grieving the American dream. You're grieving all the promises that were made to you. You're grieving the lies that, like, oh, if you work really, really hard, then you'll get all these things. You'll get access to these things. You'll be respected. And then when you get in the workforce, you realize, like, oh, I'm actually working my butt off, but nothing's happening. I'm having to get another job, right? Like, we feel it. We feel it not being true, but to hear it from somebody else is really discouraging, you know? And I hate to be discouraging. I don't want to be discouraging, but I also don't want people slaving away, so to speak, for the rest of their lives, hoping and waiting for their turn when, like, no, like, they told us this lie of working hard. If you work hard enough, you'll get to where I am, right? They don't want you where they are. And that's the thing. And they have to lie to us to get us to work hard because we believe that if we work hard, then we'll get all these riches and the wealth and the access and whatever else we were promised. Yeah. So reading the comments is like, was frustrating because people tried it. I'm not gonna hold y'all. People were trying me and disrespecting me, and they got blocked. But I also understand where they're coming from. You're upset. I'm upset too, but you're not mad at me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not mad at me. You're not mad at little Alicia. Like, what can little Alicia do? You know what I'm saying? Like, to you specifically, except trigger you by this video, right? And you don't have to watch. There were also people in the comment section who basically were like just not believing or not wanting to believe the best of me. People who called me, oh, you just want to live in a fairy tale world. Well, yeah. Doesn't everybody want to live in a fairy tale world? I'm confused, right? Like, isn't being wealthy and rich and lording over people some people's fairy tale? Are we not living in a fairy tale of somebody else's creation? Like, there are people who dream of owning real estate and property and businesses and lording over people and having all these people work for them for pennies. Like, that's somebody's dream. Why doesn't your dream get to exist, but other people's dream gets to exist, right? There was another comment that basically said, somebody asked me, so how do you suppose that people are supposed to get groceries? And I said, share what you have. If you have a surplus of groceries, share those groceries with other people, right? But also, I also don't believe that we should be paying for groceries. So that's another conversation for another day. But like, if you have, share. If you have enough and you have extra, share. Like, that is mutual aid, right? And so somebody's response to that, and it shows me like how well the programming works, right? Because I said that, share, and somebody said, well, you just want people to go back to preschool and da-da-da. And it's like, well, yeah. But it's really sad that preschoolers are more humane and kind and generous than adults are. Maybe the kids have something right. Maybe the kids being born into the world, being so fresh and new and not being so programmed, they're like, you know what? I could share my snacks. I could share my juice today. I could help Johnny or Jill out with this, right? Like, that's children's natural inclinations. It's not until our parents, well, some kids are like stingy, but usually parents are telling their kids, yo, you can't keep giving your people your lunch, okay? I make this lunch, I pay the money for the lunch, right? But we have to teach kids to have boundaries. We have to teach kids not to be generous, right? And I get it, because we live in a world that is not generous with them. And so we're trying to protect our babies, because this world is so cold and cruel. We know how hard it is for people who are sensitive and soft-hearted. So when I got that comment, it kind of, I don't know what the feeling is, discouragement, frustration, because can't you see how the programming has worked? That even you are vilifying children for being resourceful and kind, and that you see a problem with that, right? But also that you don't see the power of sharing. So mutual aid, right? Mutual aid, sharing what you have, giving resources. Within the Black community, specifically the Black community that I know, there are people who share medication. We're not supposed to, right? But medication is expensive. And so a lot of Black folks save their medicines and save it for people who need it in the future. I have used medication from people with rheumatoid arthritis or, other issues that I don't have, but because I needed medication and they had it, because they were saving it, they might not take the pill every day, but every other day, right? And they share what they have with other people. That is mutual aid. We have always done this. When you're done eating and you share your plate with somebody, that's sharing, right? And if we all shared, like, sharing really is caring. If we all shared, then nobody would go without. Because a lot of us, if we're honest, we have more than what we need, right? A lot of us have more than what we need, which is a blessing, which is great, right? And if that means that if somebody else doesn't have, then we can meet their need because we have what we need and we have extra. And so for me, I don't understand why this is a foreign concept. This has always happened. When people come over your house for a meal and they take home plates, that's sharing. You know what I'm saying? Like, when people have rewards or something on their card and you want to go buy something, they share their phone number. Like, I don't understand, even Netflix passwords. Okay, mutual aid, honey. Like, at some point at Netflix, you could share your passwords with people. We have always been a sharing people. But this hyper individualism that is taught is the death of us. Is like, we are so concerned with self that we literally don't care about other people. And we say silly things like, if I got it, you got to get it too. Or, pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. And it's like, but you didn't get pulled up by your own bootstraps. You were only successful because people helped you. I don't care what you say. You are not self-made. You are not self-made. You are because of your teacher. You are because of your janitor. You are because of the street sweeper. You are because of the landlord. I mean, let's not go there. I don't want to talk about landlords because that's a whole other conversation. But you are because somebody, like, you're renting from somebody, so to speak, right? Or you are because of the builder, the architect, the plumber, like the bus driver. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are upheld by all of these people. And for us to think that we have no right, or no obligation, I should say, to think that we have no obligation to other people is a lie to me. Like, sure, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. Should you do it though? Yes. We should be caring for people because it's the right thing to do. And even this idea of like, well, how people are going to take advantage of the system. People are already taking advantage of the system. You're being taken advantage of. If you're not the CEO, if you're not, like, you are being taken advantage of. Even me as a creator, I'm being taken advantage of. Like, to make the rest of the world be punished because a few people are going to take advantage of a system is not a good enough reason not to do it. It's not good enough. But yes, but this conversation really revealed to me that people lack imagination, people lack confidence in themselves, people lack confidence in other people, right? Like, people don't trust themselves, they don't trust their ideas, they don't trust each other. But also what it mostly revealed to me is that y'all not really concerned with getting free. And not y'all, but, you know, other people. Like, a lot of people are not concerned with getting free. A lot of people are just waiting for their turn to be an overseer, you know? And I made a video a while back called, like, I gave up Black excellence because I did. And a lot of people were upset about that. And I'm like, even that idea, Alicia, an individual, gave up Black excellence, right? When I tell you that video went viral and a lot of people were dragging me because I gave up on Black excellence, it really showed me, because I'm an individual, right? And I understand that the world sees me as a Black woman, so they automatically lump me together with the Black community. That's fine. I don't have no problem with that. But, like, for the Black community to come at my head, come at my neck, because I'm choosing to opt out, really shows how the programming relies on groupthink. It relies on group shame, like shaming tactics, right? To get us reeled in and back onto the plantation, so to speak. I don't know how else to say that, right? Like, we use shame and fear and guilt and coercion and the threat of violence or death to not only be controlled, right? They use that to control us, but we also in turn use that to control other people. And so whenever I post content like the video that I'm talking about, it's a lot of people in the comments who are triggered and upset because of what Alicia chooses to do. And that also shows me that I am not seen as an individual. I am seen as part of a whole. And if I am not going along with what the whole is doing, then somehow I am flawed, right? Somehow I am wrong. And the programming works, y'all. The programming works. Because yes, I will say most of the responses have been positive. Most of the responses are like people saying like I get it, I feel you, I'm with you. But every so often, there's someone who comes at my character, who seeks to disrespect me, and who chooses to be violent in their language or the way they think of me. So I have bird friends are here, so it's their home. I'm visiting. So, yeah, but like, it really made me sit with the question of like, why are they so bothered that I'm just calling a thing? And again, it's because I'm destroying their dream. The American dream comes with exploitation. The American dream comes with violence, right? Like, the American dreams comes with hard work and like grinding and hustling and all these different things that they're telling us that, oh, if you do this, then you'll get what I want too. But none of those people got what they got from hustling and grinding, right? The wealth that's here in this country that was created off the backs of enslaved folks and indigenous folks, right? Like, and indentured servants. The wealth that was created, they want to call us lazy while they were delegating the responsibilities to bodies to labor for them for free. But they're telling us that hard work pays off. Like, we know that that's not true. We know that they got to where they are because they cheated, they took advantage, they exploited, but they're telling us to go the hard way around. You feel me? Like, and I'm not saying that we should exploit people. Please don't misunderstand me. But I am saying that it's just very interesting that it's not do as I did, it's do as I say. And then we just automatically buy into that. And then people fight me so hard and I'm like, yo, like, when have you seen this work out where people didn't have to be exploited, right? A lot of the people that we look up to in our communities, like celebrities and things like that. A lot of them have exploited people. I'm sorry. A lot of y'all faves is awful people in their work ethic. I don't know them personally, but their business ethic is trash. I don't know what to tell you. A lot of your faves are enslavers, are overseers. A lot of them creating wealth, right? Making money from people creating in sweatshops and getting paid pennies like on the day. You see what I'm saying? Like for the day. That's a lot. That's a lot of our faves. Hold on, there's something flying. Give me 1 sec. Okay, yes. And then people asking me like, okay, Alicia, well, what do you propose? Like, I don't like when people ask me that because like I give honest answers, again, like sharing. Again, we can start a revolution by doing small things. If you don't believe in the power of sharing, then you're not my people. And I don't understand why people keep watching me that don't like me. I don't understand that. I don't understand people that feel the need to remind me that they hate my guts every time I post something. I don't understand people who need to argue with me every single day. Like, it's okay to not agree. It's okay to have different opinions. But then a lot of these people also don't have anything to offer either. Like, they're telling me why my ideas won't work. Like, as opposed to like what specifically they disagree with. Like, they'll say things like, I had a conversation with somebody in the comments and they're talking about some share that's never gonna work. What do you mean there were gifting economies before they were colonized? Money didn't always exist, y'all. It didn't always exist. There were other ways that people traded things, right? And the thing is, like, it doesn't matter whether it's communism, and that's the thing. I've never said that I'm pro-communism. I never said that I'm pro-socialism. I'm more about communalism. But I also believe that any system where there are corrupt people will be corrupt. You know what I'm saying? Like, but even still, that's not a good enough reason for me not to try and not to dream and not to try to imagine something different. You know? I just want y'all to have faith in y'all imaginations. I want y'all to have faith in each other and faith in belief in yourself that your ideas are good and they make sense. And that, yeah, maybe we do need to go back to being children again and starting from scratch. Like, what would a perfect world look like? You know? And shout out again to Mercer Price. I was on her podcast called On Freedom, and she asked me that question, like, what would a perfect world look like to you? And to me, it would be a world where people don't have to work to earn a place to live and eat, because all those things were free. You understand, right? Like, we are platforming and celebrating people who stole resources, literally came to this land that's not theirs, stole the resources of that land, the food, killed off the bison, right? Like, did harm on purpose to destabilize whole communities, right? Like, they were doing this stuff on purpose. They believe in their power. Why don't we believe in ours? Anyway, they stole the resources. They created it, and that's what capitalism does. It doesn't solve anything. It creates more problems so that more people can profit, right? i.e., there used to be fruit trees, right? Just naturally existing, meaning you could walk through the woods or down the street or whatever the road, whatever. You could walk down a path and be fed. And what did they do? Destroy all the fruit trees and all the trees that produced food, right? And then put them behind a counter and made you pay for it. That's what capitalism does. It steals and it sells back what it stole from you. That's it. In a perfect world, we wouldn't need to do that. Right? There would be different ways that we could show value to show that we value people, we value their art, we value them. Capitalism is not a system that honors people or the humanity of people. It destroys people. It destroys the world. Hello? There have been so many headlines that I've been seeing lately about people passing away because it's been too hot. Why do you think that is? Yeah, naturally it could occur, right? But we'd be silly, in my opinion, to be like, oh, this has nothing to do with the way that we've been harming the earth. This has nothing to do with the way that we have just been polluting the air and the water. Like, we'd be silly to say that. It's a plane flying overhead. It's a helicopter. But we'd be silly to say that, right? Like, and if our collective pollution of the earth can result in higher temperatures, what do you think our collective work together, like our collective effort to remedy the things that are broken, could do? And don't you think that they know that? And don't you think that they would have us to be full of despair and making us feel worthless and silly and isolating us and separating us and fighting each other so that change doesn't happen, wouldn't that be for their benefit? Their benefit as in like the capitalists, the people benefiting the most from this enslavement. Right? I have a lot of thoughts. I want to journal about them to get them all down. But like, yeah, I was very discouraged by some of the responses. I kind of expected some people, because it'd be the same few people that be coming up and I'd be like, low key, y'all, why y'all keep watching me? Because like, I'm not going to, and this sounds really gross, but I'm not going to intellectually like spar with you for fun. That's not fun to me. Like, I want to put my energy elsewhere. If you don't want to agree with me, that's fine. If you have other ideas, I welcome them, right? But I'm not about to spend my energy being exhausted by you, by people with a limited imagination. And I'm not saying that as in like that is your state for forever, like your imagination is limited forever. No, like they have convinced you to limit your imagination. They have limited your imagination. And what I've always said is that if they can find a way to limit your imagination, they can find a way to limit you. If they have your imagination, if they have your hope, if they have your dreams, right? If they have the magic that we used to believe in, they have you. They have you. If you are utterly hopeless, you will do nothing but go along with what they say, and that's what they want. They want us to comply with our own demise and our own destruction. They out today. There's like yeah. Anyway. But yeah. So I have other thoughts, but please, I know that it's hard, and I know that it sucks to come to that realization, like, dang, I've been sold a lie. I've been lied to. I've been taken advantage of. Hold on. So mourn that. Like, feel that pain. Feel the discouragement. Feel the grief and the anger, right? That you've been lied to. Feel that. Express that. And then funnel and channel that energy into your imagination when you have the energy, because it takes energy and resources to do so. But to imagine, a lot of people are like, oh, you live in a fairy tale land. Okay, and what about it? Okay. Like, that's not an insult to me. I love that I'm creative. I love that I'm imaginative. I love that I'm not limited in my imagination. I love that I have hope for people. And even though I am discouraged and angry and all that other stuff, like, my discouragement is a sign of my hope. My anger is a sign of my hope and my wanting justice, right? Like, it is not the end of me. My discouragement is not the end of me. But I think that sometimes our pain can be so great that we don't want to feel it. Right? We would rather feed ourselves the lie and go along with the programming, because it takes energy to come up with something new, right? It's uncomfortable. And that's why on some level, I get why I'm getting so much pushback. But this is just an idea. I'm not even saying you have to do X, Y, and Z. I'm saying like, hey, what about this? And people are ready to like bust me in the face, so to speak. Ain't nobody really threatened my life, but like, so to speak, like they dragging me, they're being unkind. All this whataboutisms. Well, you know, communism never worked. Who said that I believe in communism? And communism actually did work. It did work, right? But they wouldn't want you to know that it worked. This a mockingbird is like playing in this tree. I love it. Hello, mockingbird. Also, they have like the best songs. You can see it like right there. But they have the best songs. Like, I was listening to the mockingbirds yesterday and they were just like going for it. And I'm like, yes, sing. But, you know, and I also understand, one thing I do want to say is that I understand that a lot of people are like, yeah, if capitalism it didn't exist, what would we do? That's a great question, right? It's a great question, as in it's a big question. It's a great question because like it really forces us to face how much of our lives are so like entangled in survival, and how much of our lives is about like earning, and usually earning other people money before ourselves, right? Like when we work for these jobs and they pay us, the money that we're making them goes to them first, and then we get our cut. You feel me? Like, so we're always thinking about ways to make more money, especially if you were impoverished, right? You're always trying to figure out a way to survive. You're always thinking about the next thing. And again, I really do believe that that's on purpose. Like, poverty is created. It doesn't have to be a thing. Because if I can't think of my next meal, how am I going to think of a vision for the future? If I can't think of where I'm going to lay my head down at night, how else can I think of, you know, a way for us to get liberated? Right? If I don't have no free time, if I'm overwhelmed, how can I use my energy well? Like, no, they're siphoning us of our energy so that we can use it for them, you know? Yeah, so I get it. I get why you're mad. But also, you're not mad at me. You're not mad at me. You're mad at capitalism, honey. You're mad at white supremacy. You're mad at people's selfishness, right? Because a lot of people are selfish because they know that they have to preserve themselves because nobody else cares about them. Individualism, like, that's the reason why we're mad. You're not mad at me. You're not mad at the person who has hope and who believes in you. Hello? You're not mad at me. You're mad at the powers that be in the systems. And same. I think a lot of people, like, we're put in this impossible system, this impossible position, and a lot of people work to survive. Like, overworking, like, that is a product of survival. That is like a traumatic response, like a trauma response, right? Like, oh, I need to outwork. Like how I talked about before. I was so in my work because I was like, I don't want to die. I don't want to be poor. You feel me? Like, using pain as that motivation. And so I understand that it's a privileged conversation to have. And I understand that it's a triggering conversation to have, right? But we really have to be honest about, like, why we're so selfish, why we're so self-centered, why we're so focused on self-preservation, because community has been destroyed by capitalism. Like, why? We don't look out for each other. We don't have each other's back. It's a scary world out there. That's why a lot of us are very like this. Oh, I don't have the energy or the time or the resources to care about other people because I'm too busy worried about caring for myself. And I get that. And I honor that. Right? I never, like, what? Like, I get that. But you're not mad at me. You're mad at selfish people. Does that make sense? Like, I'm just calling a thing. I'm just calling it like I see it. And I have ideas. And then it's so funny when people are like, well, what are your ideas? And I share my ideas and it's still not good enough because you don't want it to change. Just be honest. You don't want it to change. And then when I ask people, like, well, what's your idea? Right? Like, maybe I'm not the person with the ideas. Maybe I'm the person who just calls it out. Maybe, you know, my husband uses this example about how black women are canaries in coal mines. Like, black women have been calling a thing for hundreds of years, and nobody has listened to black women. Nobody, right? And now everybody's talking about the same things that black women have been talking about, right? But, like, does that mean I'm going to stop talking? No. Right? I know that a lot of people are not going to listen to me. I know that a lot of people are going to fight me. I know that a lot of people are not going to get it. And even still, I persist because maybe at some point somebody will get it. Maybe somebody will just be seen. Maybe that's the work that I'm supposed to be doing, right? Just like seeing myself, being honest about the things that I see, and then also like helping other people like reflect back to them what they see. I don't know. Like, who knows what comes of this, but I know that it's important to talk about. Yeah. So that's the follow-up video I wanted to make because I've been having a lot of thoughts. But yeah, the comments, most of them are supportive and understanding, and they get it because y'all feel the same way that I do. But a lot of people have shown me that they don't exercise their imagination. They have no hope in their imagination. They don't believe in themselves. And then also a lot of people want to just lord over other people. They're not really interested in liberation. They're interested in the system being made. They're interested in the system and what the system can bring them. And therefore, I am the enemy of what they want. So I try not to take the things personal, even though the things that they say are very personal. But I realize that it's not about me. Them being triggered, I had to go through my own triggered process, right? I had to have the veil lifted off my eyes and be angry too and upset too, right? And I'm no one's punching bag, let me be clear. But I understand that the reason why they're punching in the first place is because something in them is triggered. And if that's all the job that I'm supposed to be doing, then that's okay, you know? But be honest with yourself. If you were honest with yourself, you would know that you're not really mad at me. Because what am I doing? You don't know me. We're not in the same circles together. We don't hang out together, right? Like, I have no real impact on how much you get paid at your job or your career, like, aspirations. Like, I'm just a person talking about ideas that I have, connecting with other people who get it, who feel the same way as I do, right? And trying to offer hope. That's all I'm trying to do is offer hope. Like, you actually don't need... Oh, here's another thing I want to address too. People saying that pain is pain is inspiration for things to change. And I do agree. I do agree that at some point, you know, everything in nature grows and kind of blossoms in its own way. And at some point they become too small for that container and they have to become either greater or go into a different container, right? Or shed the skin that they're in or bloom and blossom, you know, things like that. I agree, right? But we don't need man-made created painful situations. Like, painful situations that inspire growth happen naturally. Like growing pains. That stuff happens naturally, right? It's not man-made. It's something that happens naturally. We don't need more inspiration for that. We already have enough of that. There's enough naturally painful things in the world that exist already. Yeah. A human manufacturing pain is not going to make us better. It's going to destroy us. You feel me? It's just going to destroy us. It's not actually helpful. It's actually distracting us from the painful things that we could solve right now. There's a need for a cure for cancer. There's a need for a cure from HIV. There's a need for a cure of incurable diseases. We don't need man to create more problems for us to solve. If we could just recognize that actually men are in the way of men are impeding progress. Like, man as in people. Like, we're in the way. We're not allowing things to get better because we need problems to make profit. Yeah. They're even like mining our hope, right? Like promising things they can't deliver. And like, that's what they sell to us when they want us to overwork, right? Like, they're selling the dream to us. Like, it's marketing. It's all marketing. And the marketing works. They're selling the dream to us to make us labor and go all in for them, for their benefit, with the hope of one day achieving success or having enough or coming out of poverty or whatever else they're selling us, right? If you do X, Y, and Z, then you'll be secure. But that's also not true. And it's a lie. And so for me to come along and be like, it's a lie. Of course it's discouraging, but I ain't the problem. The problem was going to exist whether I said it or not. Like, whether I talked about it on a video and posted it or not, like, that still would have been true. And that's like the weight of being a truth teller. And Marissa and I talked about this. It's a curious beetle. But Marissa and I talked about this and how, like, being a truth teller, like, the weight of it, it's heavy. Because everybody want to fight you. Everybody want to fight you for seeing something and saying it. And the thing is, like, everybody else sees it too, but nobody really wants to call it out because nobody wants to get punched in the face. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody really wants to be the person dragged. You know? So we're all just kind of like, I don't want to say it, but, you know, but I guess I gotta. And so then we gaslight ourselves. But I guess that's the way it has to go. And I'm saying this because I've done this. Well, I'm only doing this for how many more years? Maybe 40 more years, and then I'll have retirement. Like, no, absolutely not. Like, let's call out how absolutely ridiculous this whole thing is. You know what I mean? What else is coming up? I have a collaboration coming up with someone named Cam James. He's a YouTuber. I really enjoy his work. He talks about scams and things like that. Love it. Love, love, love. You know I love a good expose. But just like, it's not even like dragging people. It really is encouraging and educating people on how not to be scammed, right? Because people who are impoverished are the main, like, people who are impoverished, our elders, people who are disenfranchised are the main people that scammers sell to and take advantage of, right? Because they're easy prey and nobody cares about them. And so I love that his work on his channel right now is centering educating people, educating the masses on how not to be taken advantage of. Like, this is the work that I'm talking about. Like, this is what I mean when I'm like, you can do beautiful things. You can make great change by yourself and with other people. I realize people ain't mad at me. You know? Because telling the truth online and being honest and vulnerable is dangerous. It's risky. You know, people always gonna have something to say. Always. Oh my gosh. Like, and sometimes you just want to tell them people, just leave me alone. And sometimes I do. And like I said, sometimes I block people and send them to oblivion, but they no longer exist to me. I no longer have to see their comments because you only have one time to show me that you're dangerous to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to be in the comments and trying to appeal to people's humanity. And then I realized, like, some people are here literally just to crap on you. And that sucks. Out of all the things you can do with your day, you just want to come in and just, like, crap on people. Like, why? There's so many other beautiful things you can do with your energy. But I've been trying to, like, take care of mine, take care of my energy. I've been unplugged for the last few days. It's been feeling great. I've just been like reading. I've been listening to what I want to listen to. I've been writing. I've been listening to music. I've been dancing. I've been stretching and moving my body. I've been eating what I want to eat. I've been going where I want to go, mostly Target. Just kidding. But I have gone to Target a couple of times. And just like enjoying life and allowing myself just to be human. Because I do really feel like when I am vulnerable online, right, I need to find a way to manage my energy online, because like I love creating and I love sharing, but the internet is not always a safe space to create and share. You know what I'm saying? And I am human, and that stuff hurts my feelings. Like when I'm sharing my heart or my art or something I thought really deeply about, and I journaled and I studied and and I chewed on it. Some of the stuff that I share here, I've been chewing on for like years and I haven't shared with anybody. And then to be met with such disrespect, or to be met with such like violence, or just people being mean, it's like sometimes it's just not worth it. And that's why I love having my Patreon, because I'm able to just like express what I want to express in a safe space where I can get like, because like literally what it feels like is like you just get hit in a drive-by by some randos. Like you don't know these people. These people come out the woodwork. There is no relationship with these people. They just have these heavy, heavy, heavy opinions about you based on like a 3 or 30 minute or 3 hour long clip. They have no understanding. They have no nuance. They don't want to use critical thinking skills. They don't want to be nuanced. They want to be able to lazily put you together based on their observation, their biases, their opinions, their experiences in the world. And we all kind of do that, right? To be fair, we all, because our brain is working on overtime all the time, it simplifies everything, right? It flattens everything so that it makes everything easy to digest, easy to understand. So a lot of that stuff has nothing to do with me, right? Like, but also it wears on me because people forget that I'm a human. I'm a human being with real feelings, I am sensitive. I am a sensitive soul. And like, a lot of people say like, oh, get tougher skin. And that's not what I want to do. I don't want to get tougher skin. I want to have boundaries in place, better boundaries in place, so that I can protect myself, so I can be my full fleshy, soft, sensitive, tender self. I made a post the other day, about how like I am sensitive, I am soft, and that's not an apology, it's a celebration. Because like I've been treated so inhumanely my whole life. Starting with my parents, right? Like I've been treated so inhumanely, starting with my father specifically, like, and I'm still human, and I'm still soft, and I'm still fleshy, and I'm still open, and I'm still hopeful. I've been abused in every kind of way that you can be abused, and still I am kind, and still I am generous, right? And I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I'm not scarred, because I am deeply scarred by all those situations. And I think that things like that, that's natural to happen, right? Because nobody is supposed to be harmed. Nobody is supposed to be abused, right? Like, right? And so like we're given tools to manage. But yeah, like I've been deeply wounded, and that thing will probably affect me for the rest of my life. Like some people get in car accidents, for example, and they never walk the same. Some people get punched in the face, right? And they have a scar for the rest of their lives. Like I am not at war with myself, nor am I forcing myself to be tough to avoid the pain. Like, because when I'm making myself tough to avoid the pain, I'm also making myself tough to avoid the joy. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just need better boundaries in place so that I can be my full self. I have work to do here. Like for myself, I have work to do. I have a little girl to rescue who is inside of me. I have things to share. I have things to create. I have opportunities to give other people, right? I have people to take care of. I have things to do. I have work to do here. And I cannot keep being discouraged or distracted by some naysayers or some bullies online. I can't do it. And so my first reaction whenever I see something negative, block. You are blocked. You are blocked. Delete. Block. Sometimes I'll go back and forth if there's a relationship there, but if it's a name I don't recognize, I'm not doing that. And so that's why I love, hi birdie, that's the mockingbird. You hear it? I don't know if it was talking because I'm talking. I don't know. Let's see. Or maybe it's listening for its friend. Is that your friend in the distance? Hi, cutie. Good morning. Good morning. Hi. Hi. just lovely. Like, you hear, like, just lovely. Anyway, but I have to do the work that I have to do to protect my soul. Because even like people, when I share my ideas, people demand me to have a plan of action, and y'all don't even have a plan of action for yourselves, right? But people demand for me to have a plan of action. I'm just like, yo, like, I'm just getting here. Like, I'm in progress. I never said that I have all the answers. I never said that I'm perfect. I never said that I know what I'm doing, because I don't. I'm very, very consistently, I'd say, Pillow Train. Very consistently, I say, I don't know what I'm doing, and I love that for me. I love that I have a fresh sheet of paper and I can just like use the inspiration of other people or the work of other people, but also like my imagination to think of something different, even just for myself. Like, what I choose to do with my life, everybody's not going to do, and I know that. And I'm not trying to get everybody to do what I'm doing. I want everybody to care, but how you move through life, that's up to you. But like, I can't do the work that I'm put here to do if I keep being bullied by people online. You know what I'm saying? Or if I'm keep having to fight people in the comments, or like argue for my humanity, or like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got time for that. Like I said, I'm surviving day by day. I have mental health issues. I have physical issues. Like, I just, just got a diagnosis recently, and that's frustrating because I need to heal my body. And I need to de-stress. And so like I said, my focus for the sabbatical is joy, is rest, pleasure, healing, and using joy as a tool for liberation. And also like I said before in one of my other videos, my joy is my fist, right? Though I do have a lot of radical ideas, and I don't know if they're radical or not. They're just ideas that a lot of people don't like. But I do have a lot of ideas. But I also need to take care of my spirit and my soul and my body. Like, I am my first community. I am my first love. And I'm also learning how to center myself, because that's also really hard. And I cried about this last night. And I've been getting a lot of direction from people. Like, if you're a woman, if you have a menstrual cycle, to listen to your body, to listen to your soul and your spirit when it's speaking, when you're on your cycle, to listen to what needs to be purged. And I never thought about that before. This was actually like advice given to me on one of my other videos, because your body knows what's going on. Like, your body is in tune with your spirit. You know what I'm saying? Even though we might not be able to hear it, or we've been ignoring it, or been taught to ignore our bodies. We've been taught to ignore our bodies, right? Like, but our bodies are always speaking to us. Our bodies will let us know that something is wrong or something's not right, right? Like, simple things, like when I tighten my stomach, I know that I don't feel safe. Like, when I'm biting my tongue or overthinking, I know that I'm worried about, did not see this person. I know that I'm worried about how I'm going to be perceived. You know what I'm saying? And so like, there are some things going on with my body that I need to heal and listen to. And I'm just not interested in arguing with people online when I know that's their work to do. Like, I'm triggering something within them. I'm resonating with something in them that's causing them to act violently against me. But that also is not my business. You know? I love mockingbirds. I hear someone else in. Oh, wow. That's dope. Anyway, so I'm going to get my day started now, and I'll come up with more, I'll come back with more things to share. But right now, I just kind of want to sit here and listen to the mockingbirds sing. So I'll talk to you later. And thank you for being here. Thank you for being supportive. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for being patient. There are some of y'all who are supporting me, and y'all haven't gotten anything from me in like months. And I really appreciate that, because like, I'm trying my best, y'all. Like, when I say that I'm surviving, I really am. Like, I'm really trying my best. I'm doing the best that I can. And I appreciate y'all for not seeing me as a machine or like a product to consume, but seeing me as a whole person. Like, that really means a lot to me. All right. Ooh, I hear you, woodpecker. So I'm gonna go now and get some cinnamon and get my day started, and I'll talk to y'all soon.